everyone. Welcome to the Blissful Living Podcast. This is the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, Rochel Marie Lawson, and I have a fabulous show in store for you. As you know, I like to bring guests that help us to take away nuggets of gold that we can incorporate in our lives immediately. And so, my guest that I have today is one of the Brave, Bold, and Unstoppable Woman Summit speakers. But not only is that makes her fabulous, she's a fabulous gal. And we're going to talk about some stuff that actually all women and men need to hear about when it comes to really stepping into being brave, bold, and unstoppable. And there's this one thing that starts with the letter C that without it, you can't ever step into being brave, bold, and unstoppable. So hold tight. Also, as you know, I like to take this time to have all of you find a place to sit, get your favorite beverage, get something to write with, a pen, pencil, piece of paper, because you're going to want to be able to capture some of the nuggets of gold that's going to be shared during this show. Of course, you can always re-listen to the show, and I highly suggest you download the show so that you can play it over and over. The other thing is, if you're not already subscribed, you really should subscribe to the show so that you get advanced notifications of when the show is coming out and the guests that will be on the show. So while you're taking care of that kind of business and getting everything situated on your end, let me take care of some business on this end. The one thing I do want to say is, again, if you have not subscribed to the show, please subscribe to the show. And lastly, share this show with every woman and man that you know, because the more we can get this information out, the better it is that we can connect and unify and making the world a better place. So while you're doing that, let me take care of business. I want to thank our sponsors of the show, Blissful Living for You, at Blissful Living, the number 4, the letter U.com. You really want to go check them out, particularly when it comes to events happening in this upcoming year. And with regards to the beautiful things that they have to help you keep your pillars of wellness, wisdom, and wealth balanced, and in synchronicity with how you ebb and flow, how your unique essence ebb and flows in life and on your path to bliss. So check out Blissful Living at Blissful Living, the number 4, the letter U.com. And plus, they got a lot of free stuff on their site. So you want to check them out and get the free stuff at least. And then the other sponsor I want to thank is All Day Cable Incorporated, premier woman-owned telecommunications installation company located in Silicon Valley. They are the premier installation company for telecommunications in the western region of the United States. They've been in business since 1989. And if you're a small, mid-size, or large corporation and you need some assistance with your telecom installation, particularly voice, data, fiber, cabling, as well as wireless access points, any audio, video, or speaker issues, you want to check out a company that has the longevity and that has survived every economy that we've had since 1989, and that is All Day Cable Inc. You can check them out at alldaycableinc.com. Okay, so now that I've taken care of business, I've given you guys some time to get your stuff together so you can be absolutely in the right frame of mind for my guest. I'm gonna bring her on, and I'm gonna let her tell y'all a little bit about herself. So she's this beautiful gal named Saresa Michelle Cooper, and she's amazing, you guys. She has a radiant personality. She's commanding the stage when she speaks. She just has this very just beautiful essence about her. But not only that, she talks about something that we all need in order for us to be brave, bold, and unstoppable. So welcome, Saresa, to the Blissful Living Podcast. Girl, how you doing?
I'm great.
You know, I'm acting fool.
Yes.
What the heck?
I love it. I love it though. The energy is there. But I just want to thank you, first of all, for inviting me on. This is so great to have this platform and to speak about what I'm very passionate about, as you said, confidence.
Yes. Oh, she dropped that C word. Okay,
Yes.
that's it. Okay, so now I want you to tell the listeners and the viewers and everybody that's gonna see and hear you, or us rather, give them a little bit of background about you. Like, tell them where you came from, and how you got to be this woman that's commanding confidence.
Yes. So really, I have to give it to my parents, Michael and Sarah Cooper. Honestly, it all started with them. They were my foundation, and actually, they're still together 50 years later,
Oh my
which is truly I know it's truly a blessing. I was actually born in Aurora, Colorado, but by the time I was 12, I had lived everywhere, all over the world. My father was in the military. And, my military brats can relate. You have to really be confident to travel so much at a young age and lose friends so often and have to make new ones over and over and over again. So, really, for me, my confidence started in childhood. However, when my dad got out of the military, he retired where him and my mother are originally from, which is Wilmington, Delaware. So really, Wilmington, Delaware is who bred me. Wilmington, Delaware sits about 25 minutes outside of Philadelphia. So I am bred in a very strong, tough-willed environment. So that too contributed to my confidence and my wanting to share that with the world. So that's, really the childhood part of it. From there, I did move to Fort Worth, Texas after graduating college twice. And that's actually where I reside now. I'm here in Fort Worth, Texas. Went through a big life change during the pandemic. I was 350 pounds. I was on the verge to diabetes, high blood pressure, any health issue, you name it, I had it. And I just, after going to the hospital one time, and mind you, by that time I was 32, 33 years old, and I had never had a stint in the hospital for anything, not even a broken bone. Nothing. So, it really freaked me out, but it freaked me out in a way that it encouraged me to step into my power and to answer the call of my purpose, which is to teach and learn about confidence
Okay,
and
wait.
more of it.
Okay, so
Mhm.
that's just a starter about what we're going to talk about. But I wanted you all to understand and know where she came from because, as she mentioned, as a kid traveling, when we're children, we can be vulnerable and shy. I was super shy as a kid. So every time that they moved, she had to have the confidence to make new friends and the confidence to leave the friends that she made behind. And so this is a process. And probably for someone like me, when I was little, I may have had some difficulty with it because, kids are tough. And depending on where you move to, they can be really tough and ugly. And so it's important that you all got a background on where she came from and her journey, because now we're going to bring you through some things and bring you up to the moment. But excuse me, Saresa, I want you to share with them, when you spoke at the Brave, Bold, Unstoppable Woman Summit, you shared so much and you had the room in awe because no one, first of all, your topic was spot on, but no one could ever believe that was your first time speaking.
It was my
And
first
so,
time.
right? And so you guys, I want to say she commanded it like she was an old seasoned pro and had been doing it for years and years and years. You would have never known that it was her first time speaking. It was all because she came and she commanded because she had confidence in herself. So I want you to share with the listener. I want to ask you this.
Yes.
When it comes to confidence, what do you find prohibits most women from being confident?
That's a good question. I know in my own journey, what prohibits me the most is really inauthenticity. When I come with a mask, trying to be something that I'm not, instead of
I'm
really
looking for my mic because that's a mic drop right there.
Yes.
I got this pen. That's a mic drop. that hits home. Go on, girl. I'm sorry.
When I come with inauthentic energy that is not me, it's not what I do, it's not who I am, it's not where I'm from. It's hard for me to be confident because I'm not connecting with the truth of me. Real confidence comes from truth and the truth of you, where your heart is, where your mind is, where your energy is. When you try to step outside of that and fashion someone else or put on a facade that is not you, it's very hard to live up to that. And because you can't live up to it, you can't be confident in yourself.
Oh, I love
So
it. I love it.
wherever I go and whatever I do, I always show up as me. That's why at the beginning of my talk, when I spoke at the conference, I wanted people to know where I came from, the states, and how I was influenced by them. When I spoke, I definitely used the word y'all a few times because Texas influences me so much. And I have to show up as myself each and every time, no matter how it's received, no matter how it's perceived. That's how I'm able to stand in my power and in my confidence.
I love it. I love it. I love the fact that you said being authentic with yourself, because we all know women, everybody, all of us, and men too,
Yes.
but are really, when they step out, they're not being authentic to themselves or with themselves. And so they step out and they wonder why people kind of shade them a little bit, or why they come off and people throw side eyes their way,
Yeah.
because they're not being authentic. What would you say to someone that is struggling with accepting their authentic self?
Mm. I would say learn to see everyone as you, and then connect back to what makes you you. See, a lot of times we struggle with accepting our authenticity because we're too busy looking at what everyone else is doing and who everyone else is, and what facade other people are putting up. I always say, as much as social media is a great tool for us, it is a fool's playground because people look at it and think it's real life. But there is a point in time where we have to come off the computer. We have to come off of social media, and we have to connect and do the work and the mission that we are here to do. And I say all that to say, when you're struggling with when you're struggling with your authenticity, the best part about it is that we all have been there. And when you learn to see that we all have been there, we're all going through the same struggles, challenges, and things that we need to overcome, it becomes that much easier. Give yourself grace.
Mm.
Grace. You are deserving of it. And once you can put that in your heart and your mind that you deserve grace at every turn, it becomes easier to accept yourself authentically. The
Wow.
same grace you give others, give it to yourself.
Wow. I think that's huge, because there's so many women probably watching us and can relate to that. And I'm going to throw this out there just to you guys watching or listening to us. How many of you are really authentic with yourself? I know that there are times in my life that I really haven't been authentic with myself. I saw somebody else that, I wanted to emulate, wanted to be like. I'm still working on trying to be like Beyonce, but but I realized I'm Rochel Marie, and she probably trying to work to be like me.
Okay.
Right. But no, for real. I mean, there are a lot of women out there that struggle to be authentic, and they have this imposter syndrome that they put on. And particularly, you dropped a dime when you said social media. You can portray yourself any old kind of way on social media, and it can be completely all false and fake. And the problem is that when somebody you may not even know recognizes you, hey, you so and so that I saw on TikTok or whatever, da, 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 da. And they're like, but dang, you don't even look like that, or your skin ain't as clear, or dang, your eyes are really dark brown, they're not blue, or whatever it is, because you portrayed yourself inauthentically, trying to be something that you're not. When you get that hit, the confidence level that you may have had goes all the way down below into the ground, down to, I want to say, almost down to hell, because you've just been, your cover has just been blown. So stepping in and being authentic, like you're saying, is one, you guys, that's a negative goal. One of the keys to being able to be confident and step out in the world confidently. Okay, so now that we got that, the authenticity.
Yes.
What would you share, or what would you like to say to women that struggle with really recognizing that they can be confident?
I mean, it all goes back to self-talk and self-nurturing. So I always say this to people. You can tell the inner dialogue someone has with themselves based on how they talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
See, we always show up in the world based on how we treat ourselves, whether we know it or not. From the way that we look, from the way that we talk, from the way that we carry ourselves, from the life that we live in general. It's a direct reflection of the inner work and the inner dialogue that we do to ourselves. So, what I would say to that woman that can't see themselves being confident is begin to build yourself up inwardly, because that's where it all starts from. That is the foundation. When you learn to talk good to yourself, you can then learn to be confident and see yourself authentically. All of it is tied together. Self-talk and the way you treat yourself will allow the doors to be open, actually to fly open, for you to begin to see yourself differently as your highest self. And you connect with that through inner dialogue.
I love it. I love it. You mentioned that, you weighed 350 pounds.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And at that time, did you feel as confident as you do right now?
If I'm honest with you, no, because that excess weight was a symptom of the inner dialogue. I didn't build myself up. So there was no way I could take care of myself, because I didn't care about myself enough to have those important conversations with myself. I was too busy putting on a mask, hiding behind the wine bottles and the food and the fake luxury that I couldn't even afford. Like, honestly.
Right. I mean, you see, you dropping some this is real talk, y'all. She being real, and this is real talk. We need to hear this kind of stuff.
But I wanted the facade that I had it all together. But I was drowning. I was lonely. I was sad. I was. And it wasn't until I got sick that I had to change my dialogue to myself. That sickness forced me to change how I spoke to myself. I knew that if I was going to live another year, I had to live it loving me.
I love it. Wow. I mean, this is deep. I love this. So, ladies and gentlemen watching us or listening to us, I want to ask you this question. I know we can't hear your answer, but when it comes to loving yourself, do you really, really, really love every aspect of yourself? The good, the bad, and the very, very ugly. Do you love it, or do you shield or cover up different aspects or hide from different aspects of yourself because you don't want to embrace all of that? Because what Saresa is saying is basically you have to embrace all of yourself. And you have to embrace all of yourself authentically and truthfully, and begin having that dialogue with yourself internally in order for you to be able to even step out on that red carpet with them 6-inch heels on and command it like you Naomi Campbell walking down the catwalk. You have to be in touch with yourself, all aspects of yourself, before you can really step out and be confident. Now, Saresa, with regards to confidence, and you dropped some nuggets of gold already. With regards to confidence, what is something that you would like to share with anybody that's listening to us or watching us that will help nudge them to step out in their life from the moment they hear and see us, and step out in their life commanding the confidence that they should have?
Yes. So what I would say is, don't put too much pressure on yourself, but take one little step at a time, one foot in front of the other. If you know there's something that you've been wanting to do it. Maybe not full-fledged, right? Whatever that goal is, but take one step towards it. And then when you accomplish that one step, it will encourage the next one, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one. Incremental change is what changes big things in our lives. It's what causes great change within us. So, for instance, as I said about the inner dialogue, say you're eating a piece of cheesecake, right? Normally, when you eat that piece of cheesecake, you say to yourself, girl, you so fat and dumb, you can't do nothing right. Instead, switch that thought up. Start to say to yourself, okay, you're indulging at this moment, but the next moment, you'll have a glass of water to combat the cheesecake. Or in the next time you have that craving for the cheesecake, you're going to walk around the bin or whatever you need to do to distract yourself from that. But just even if talking to yourself begins with instructions to yourself instead of berating yourself, that's one step in the right direction. So just take one little step at a time. And then eventually you'll begin to see yourself differently. Like the truth that you are. But it just takes one step at a time. So don't pressure yourself. As I said, grace and gratitude is what you need to have at the forefront of your day and in all that you do. Have grace with yourself and be thankful for every moment that you get. And eventually, as you take those little steps, those incremental changes towards who you want to see yourself as, you will see yourself as that individual.
Woo, y'all. Woo. It's beautiful to have conversations like this, because I think so many times as women, we try to, when we step out into the world, so to speak, we've all done it. We put on this facade, right? And you can carry that facade and walk with that facade all day long, but eventually you got to face the reality. And if you're not woman enough to have that inner dialogue with yourself and have the conversations with yourself that you need to have, so that when you step out in the world, you don't have to put on that facade, and you really have the attitude as, I'm going to be who I am, do what I do, and do how I do it. And if they like me, great.
And if they don't,
great too, because I'm not going to be for everybody, but whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to step out and be true to myself. I think that is huge.
And people need to know that even if the vast majority of people don't receive them, there's someone out there that will.
Yes, that's so true. I think a lot of times also as women, we try to get into pleasing the eye or being the eye candy for the masses. And really, we need to just be the eye candy first for ourselves. And then whoever is receptive to the sweetness and goodness that we got, then they're gonna be naturally attracted to us. But if they're not, it's okay, because we're not gonna always be for everybody. And it's funny, you dropped a word, and I'm like, oh, that's Black people talk. You said just take a walk around the bend. That's not Southern talk. Black people, it might be Southern, I don't know, but I was like, okay, so for all of y'all don't know what a bend is, a walk around the block, okay?
Yes. Take a walk around the bend. Like I told you, I show up as me no
Yes,
matter what.
I love it. I
No
love
matter
it.
what,
I
I'll
love it.
show up
And
as
I
me.
love hearing that word because it took me back to some very
Yeah,
fond times growing up with my grandmother who was from Houston, Texas. But
yeah.
just the sayings and stuff we say.
Mhm.
But again, see, Saresa had the confidence to
Yeah,
say and stand in how she talks. She's not trying to
yeah.
put on no air. She's not trying to talk all proper. She's not,
No.
she's just being herself. And that's the beauty of it. And when you see her speak on stage, she's herself. She's just like what you see now. So with regards to our dialogue and our conversation about confidence,
Mhm.
you mentioned in your talk something about a little tiny, tiny, tiny seed. I want you to drop some words of wisdom, some nuggets of gold to our listeners and viewers that are watching us about that little tiny seed.
So the tiny seed that she's referring to, as I'm sure you all have heard the parable in the Bible about the mustard seed and mustard seed faith, and in particular, and the mustard seed is so amazing. It's so amazing because when it starts out the tip of a sharpened pencil, or at the tip of a pen. Like it starts that tiny. But if it's nourished properly, within 10 days' time, it can grow so huge, almost to the size of a jockey on top of his horse. That's how large it can grow when properly nourished. And the reason why I named my talk Mustard Seed Confidence is because that's all it took for me. That's all it took for me. It took me one scare stint in the hospital. And I was like, okay, girl, we're gonna change everything up right here and right now. How you're gonna talk to yourself is gonna change. How you're gonna show up in the world is gonna change. You're gonna show up authentic. You're gonna be authentic with yourself, with others, and your energy is always going to remain grounded in your power and your confidence. And I know firsthand that that can be done. And I want others to know that the moment you decide that you're going to love on you and you're going to nourish you, even if you're scared, even if you can't see how you can do that because you've done the opposite of that up until this point. If you just take one little step forward towards that love, care, kindness, and attention to yourself, it literally will blow your mind at how great it will grow. And that's exactly what the mustard seed does. And that's why I think it's amazing that the Bible used that parable, because if you have faith but so little, and we're saying faith in you, that's really all confidence is the faith to show up as yourself
Oh,
every time and loving it, no matter who receives it or rejects it. All it is faith to do that. That's all confidence is. It's faith, y'all. Confidence is faith, but it's a faith in you.
yes. I love it. I love it, man. That, my friends, was Saresa Michelle Cooper talking to us about confidence. And as a brave, bold, unstoppable woman, you need to have that confidence. There is, and I know we're at our time, but give me a minute because it's my show and I can do what I want to do. But um, there's a person that I think exhibits that type of confidence. Now, she might go sometimes way overboard, but the fact that she does what she does and she stands in her confidence, I love it. And I would say that's Lizzo. Now, I'm not in agreement with how she always dresses because sometimes I feel that it is inappropriate depending on the settings with children and stuff. But I love the fact that she's a big girl and she got confidence for days. If a little skinny 20 could put it on, Lizzo can too, and she don't care. And that's the beauty about confidence is when you are confident within yourself, it doesn't matter what everything or everybody else external of you thinks because You have that inner dialogue, that authentic relationship with yourself. And you know that just by the faith of you having that, if your confidence is at the size of a mustard seed, well, you can grow into this big, huge, beautiful stalk of some mustard greens and really stand in your greatness. So thank you, Saresa, for being a guest on the Blissful Living podcast. I love what you're doing. I love how you show up. You guys, she's just phenomenal. And there's you gonna watch. She gonna be there's more. You're gonna see her start seeing her all over the place because she has a message, and I think her message is not only for us grown as women to hear and men, but it's also for our children, our little girls and our little boys to hear, because a lot of times our confidence gets squashed when we're children, and we lose we lose the disconnection from it.
Yeah.
And we grow up thinking that what we're doing is being confident, but we really have lost the relationship with our own inner confidence when we were a child because somebody squashed it and squashed our dreams pretty badly. So thank you, girl, for being here. I love you. So thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, listeners and viewers, for watching. This is very important. And that's why I say it's so important that if you like the show, subscribe to it. If you are watching us and are listening to us and you think a girlfriend or two or people you in your life need to hear it, share the show with them, because the more we can get this kind of information out, the better it is that we can be, and we can stand in unity to make the world a better place. And that's really what it's all about. It just takes one mustard seed after another, but pretty soon we got a whole field, a whole nation full of mustard seeds that are growing phenomenally, confidently, and ebbing and flowing together, and not in competition, because there is no competition. We're just ebbing and flowing and vibing together to make the world a better place. So thank you, Saresa. Thank you, listeners. Please share the show with everyone you love and care about. Thank you to our sponsors, Blissful Living for You at Blissful Living, the number 4, the letter U.com. Check them out. Y'all go get your free stuff. And to All Day Cable Incorporated at alldaycableinc.com. And until next time, you know, the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, I always got something sassy to say. But until next time, I'm wishing you all peace to your mind, wellness to your body, tranquility to your spirit, and go head on and step out and be confident. Because remember, there's no one on the planet like you that can show up like you and do the things that you do. This is the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, Rochel Marie Lawson. Until next time, goodbye for now, y'all.
Bye.